Welcome to the Beau Show. I cover many things that happen in Hollywood and entertainment because in the culture war, they represent the battles. For instance, what is considered progressive by Hollywood if an artist is stripping or simulating sex on stage like Cardi B did in the song WAP would be considered unacceptable by most. But in presenting it so enticingly or even celebrated, it pushes the boundaries of what is culturally acceptable and thus becomes normalized. That's why your 6-year-old is doing the WAP dance when you don't want her to. There are reasons that this happens. Number one, Hollywood considers itself to be the groundbreakers and the tastemakers. They have a certain ego and pride about it. But they also do it because they can, because no one gives them any pushback. We, as consumers, continue to open up our wallets and our purses, so they forge ahead. And politically speaking, we know they are open leftists, so rather than jabs about, let's say, Vladimir Putin or Xi Jinping, we get jabs about Mitch McConnell, Ron DeSantis, and Donald Trump. In this Hollywood bubble is a true disinformation campaign. It's not about what is right, it's about what is cool, trendy, and liberal. Look no further than what Disney is doing right now in offending its entire customer base, which is families, over this Florida parental rights bill. They are cutting their nose off to spite their face in appeasing a tiny fraction of its employees, while the other sensible employees have to stay silent because they've been made to feel like they are bigots if they stand up for the bill. Disney lost sight of whom it serves. Walt would be livid. But I mention this because whatever Disney is doing now is a precedent for how it and other companies will begin to act, and thus another chapter in the culture war. It's in the music, it's in the movies, television, books, novels, and of course the media. And now it's even in your kids' schools and Disney World. You have to be vigilant about this because it seeps into the brain quite subconsciously. And this leads me to my topic today, which is the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences decision with respect to the conduct of actor Will Smith when he struck fellow actor Chris Rock on stage at the 94th Annual Academy Awards. In a chilling moment for all who witnessed it, the Academy's board met recently to determine what it would do in the wake of this massive slap. The board includes Laura Dern, Whoopi Goldberg, Rita Wilson, Ava DuVernay, Steven Spielberg, and Janet Yang, who was a governor at large who began her career in China in distribution. Why do I mention that? Well, now you know why you can't talk bad about China and why Hollywood wants money from China. In a letter from AMPAS President David Rubin and CEO Dawn Hudson, they state, quote, "The 94th Oscars were meant to be a celebration of the many individuals in our community who did incredible work this past year. However, those moments were overshadowed by the unacceptable and harmful behavior we saw Mr. Smith exhibit on stage. During our telecast, we did not adequately address the situation in the room. For this, we are sorry. This was an opportunity for us to set an example for our guests, viewers, and our Academy family around the world, and we fell short, unprepared for the unprecedented," unquote. I'll stop here just for a moment. It's interesting that they do recognize that they could have set an example for the Academy, for the viewers, for entertainers, for the country, and for the world. They admit their failure to do one thing about it. And so they go on. The board has decided for a period of 10 years from April 8th, 2022, Mr. Smith shall not be permitted to attend any Academy events or programs in person or virtually, including, but not limited to, the Academy Awards. This action we are taking today in response to Will Smith's behavior is a step towards a larger goal of protecting the safety of our performers and guests and restoring trust in the Academy. We also hope this can begin a time of healing and restoration for all involved and impacted. Now, Smith, in a brief statement, said, "I accept and respect the Academy's decision." Where have I heard this type of response before?
Your Honor, I respect you and I respect the jury, but I did not do this. And I am not suicidal. And if anything happens to me when I go in there, I did not do it to myself, and you must all know that. I respect you, Your Honor. I respect your decision.
Just saying you respect the decision is a way of trying to save face for not getting a worse sentence. However, on April 1st, ironically, April Fool's Day, Smith had preempted the Academy's decision by resigning from it. And in this preemptive action, Smith stated, quote, "My actions at the 94th Academy Awards presentation were shocking, painful, and inexcusable. I betrayed the trust of the Academy. I deprived other nominees and winners of their opportunity to celebrate and be celebrated for their extraordinary work. I am heartbroken. I want to put the focus back on those who deserve attention for their achievements and allow the Academy to get back to the incredible work it does to support creativity and artistry in film," unquote. Now, in this chess move, it hamstrung what the Academy Board might do. So Smith got ahead of the story, which was, of course, quite calculated. That's like getting to sentence yourself before the jury ever comes out. And we knew that the Academy wasn't going to take Will's Oscar away from him because Whoopi Goldberg, who sits on the board, told her audience on The View.
We're not going to take that Oscar from him.
Well,
we're not
I
going
think
to take
there should be consequences to
Well, there
assault
will
on
be
national
consequences,
television.
I'm sure, but I don't think that that's what they'll
Well,
be.
apparently-
Particularly because Chris said, "Listen, I'm not pressing any charges."
In this statement, which was preemptive on Whoopi's part, was validated by saying that because Chris Rock didn't press charges is another justification for why they might not take his Oscar away. Now, in a courtroom, that would be the equivalent of showing extreme bias before deliberation ever began. After all, the Academy never revoked director Roman Polanski's Oscar, even after he fled the country after being convicted for sex with a 13-year-old. It took the Academy 40 years to ban him. Neither has the Academy revoked Oscars from the now convicted Harvey Weinstein, although he was expelled. The Academy revised its conduct standards in the wake of the Weinstein aftermath, which states that, quote, "The Academy does not tolerate people who abuse their status, power, or influence in a manner that violates standards of decency," unquote. Well, okay, touche. Eat your words, Academy, because you just allowed Will Smith to walk away with a 10-year ban after you just revised your conduct code. The Academy banned Weinstein and Bill Cosby about at the same time. But see, a ban is pretty weak, and the Academy never revoked the coveted trophy. But let's think about sports for a moment. Lance Armstrong had all 7 of his Tour de France wins stripped of him after doping. They didn't just ban him, they revoked his wins. You see why banning seems a bit light by comparison? Lance was likely the best at his sport, to win 7 times, even when many of his competitors were also doping, thus kind of leveling out his competitive advantage. But yet, they made a statement. They ripped those wins away from him. So the Oscars, in not revoking Smith's award, falls in line with their inability to revoke Oscars from Harvey Weinstein and Roman Polanski.